looks like Maddie Allen is going to be the libero, and Reinert is going to be in the passing lanes. But I think you got to keep an eye on all these defensive players that BYU's added. They can put in 3 or 4 just quality passers at any given time.
And the 2021 fall season is underway on BYU TV. Great to have you with us. And BYU gets on the board first. This is part of a tournament, all predetermined matches. BYU will play Long Island tonight at 9 Eastern time as well. The Sharks in town. And UNLV swept Long Island earlier today. And then tomorrow night we have BYU and UNLV. All the matches on the BYU TV app. The BYU ones will be on the app and BYU TV. And the ace, the first one of the season for the backup center, Taylor Hefo.
And we saw Taylor Hefo throughout her career just being that serving specialist. She can go on a roll. She can change the whole trajectory of a match just based on her serve. 2-0
BYU in the first set here. Overpass. Ballard Nixon. Bauer inside to Kennedy Eschenberg. Dug up, but SUU into the net. 3-0.
And I think goals here right now for BYU is just to keep their focus, play their game, execute at a high level. For SUU, they just want to battle. You know, get out there, get a pass up to the net, and just try to attack and put something on it.
Hefo goes long. Taylor is married to Aleva Hefo, who played football at BYU, was cut by the Arizona Cardinals recently. Hopefully he lands on another team. We'll see about that. SUU to serve.
Yeah, and BYU brings in Ariane McComber, another grad transfer.
Washington State. Korver gets her first kill as a Cougar. The Ute turned Cougar, All-American. I mean, I don't know how this happened, but boy, is BYU happy.
They really are.
Let's talk some of the keys. You mentioned some of your keys. SU and BYU, they got to do these things to win.
Right, for SUU, serve lights out. They've got to, anytime they have the ball to serve, they've got to go behind the line and take some chances, because this BYU team just way too good to serve little lollipop serves. Also battle, you know, fight, try to extend the rally. For BYU, stay in system. That means get that pass up to the net and allow Whitney Bauer to set everyone and run the offense she wants. That will allow them to find their flow as an offense. A lot of times preseason, you know, it takes a while to get that comfort level within hitters and within a team, and so BYU wants to establish that really quick and find that rhythm.
6-1 BYU, those keys to the game presented by Tim Daly Ford. Tim Daly Auto Group, serving Utah since 1968.
Well, let's look a little bit right now at the front line for BYU. That is always a very, very tough block. Now you have Taylon Ballard-Nixon, 6'3", right? You've got a 6'5" Kennedy Eschenberg, and then you add there on the right side, Kenzie Korver, who also is 6'3". So it's very tough for these teams to find any sort of daylight when they're swinging.
Salcedo went inside, and then the kill up the gut from Carissa Ritchie, the freshman from Minnesota. 6-2. If you're Southern Utah, not only are you trying to get ready for the season to go, you're trying to get to know the coaching staff. I mean, taking a job this late is super rare, but Casey Nady's been super positive about this whole thing as Heather Knighting gets her first kill since 2019 off of a mission. But Nady's got a good attitude. She was an assistant coach at San Francisco. She's familiar with playing BYU, WCC, and this is a group that she's very excited about.
Yeah, I think she kind of had low expectations going in, and then after those couple weeks of practice, she was like, hey, I like this team. I like the way they've been able to learn the systems that she's tried to put in. They've got a lot of great attitudes, a lot of good work ethic, and so I think this Southern Utah team this weekend just has that opportunity to come out and learn as much as they can and just fight, play hard.
4 kills so far from BYU, all from different players: Ballard-Nixon, Knighting, Korver, and Eschenberg. As you take a look at Stacy Hone, they'll need her. Korver takes a deep breath, lines it up in the southpaw, serves it up. BYU up 8-2 in set 1. Not too far from Adriana McKee, the senior from Brigham City. 9-2.
And that's what you're going to see a lot is Southern Utah smartly, right? You're not going to have seams open, so you've got to go high and hard and try to get some fingers, and you're going to miss a few times.
Korver, the grad transfer from Chino Hills. Gets SUU out of system, free ball coming. in Salcedo. Maddie Allen, Bauer now a junior. Heather Knighting on the slide for the kill. Heather Knighting got back in July from a mission to Seattle. Attention is Kiki Solano. She has more on Heather Knighting.
That's right, Jerem. I talked to Heather yesterday at practice. She told me she's only been back from her mission for 6 weeks, but she was just so excited to get back. Wanted to immediately be back on the court. She's making an impact here today, but her teammates have just been absolutely amazed at how fast she's adjusted. They've said it's really been mind-blowing. Jerem?
It really has, and Heather Olmstead, we asked her, okay, how quickly can you integrate her? Because it's a thing on the men's side that, return missionaries, they deal with. Back-to-back aces.
7 months.
From Korber.
Sean Olmstead says, Carl McGowan said, don't even think about these players for 7 months that come back from a mission because it takes that long to get back.
Are you sure it wasn't 7 weeks? Because it's been 6
right.
For Heather. But yeah, sometimes there are injuries that happen early trying to come back and that affect you the rest of your career. Chris Collinsworth sticks out, BYU men's basketball player, who was excited to play, kind of hurt his ankle, his other knee kind of compensated, and then never was the same. So it's tough. But Heather Olmstead said the arm is still there. It's just physically getting her back in.
Well, and she looks great. I think someone else who looks great, Nixon hammering there on the outside. But you look at Knighting, in the middle, the importance is speed and eye work, and she's doing a really nice job moving laterally. If you look at that swing from Nixon right there, that is because of the depth of players on this roster for BYU. If you're an opposing team blocking, who do you go with, right? It's really tough, and so BYU is always going to have pretty good looks there on the outside as Bauer continues to move the ball around.
Stacey Hone hammers it, the tip back over, Korber covers, blasted in the middle, blocked, good cover. SU all over it as Gasper sets it up. Now Korber with the dig. She's all over it as an opposite. She passes really well. Gasper with the dig again. Corin Peterson up high for Hone. Maddie Allen there, good rally from both teams. Livingston off of hands. Peterson from Lehigh down the line, and SUU wins the rally. Adriana McKee gets it done.
Such a big point there for SUU, the fight to extend that rally, to stay in it defensively, to be patient, swinging at 4 or 5 different swings, and then to get that point. That's a huge tempo builder for this team.
And that serve goes long. 14-4, so BYU jumping out in front. Heather Olmstead felt like, listen, we've been together 2.5 weeks. Let's see who we are. Because you and I are excited to say, hey, this team's pretty good. And she's more like, well, we'll see. We haven't done anything.
Right.
Ace from Heather Knighting as BYU continues to serve effectively. 4th ace of the first set. Service aces are brought to you by Prochet Bridal. Prochet Bridal is Utah's luxury bridal boutique featuring a full-service salon, your one-stop shop for bridal styling. And more at prochetbridal.com. We are anxious to get excited about this team. Heather is slow playing it where it's like, we got to prove ourselves. We haven't done anything.
Well, and also I think the challenge, and it's a good challenge, I suppose, right, is you've got this depth on the sideline for BYU. A lot of players can step in, and so is this weekend an opportunity to just solidify and see where your starting lineup is and get them comfortable together, or do you give other players an opportunity to get some swings as well?
It's tough in the first weekend because you want to jump out and, all right, let's mesh with the starters, like you're saying. How loose will you be at the end of a third set if you're up 2-0 and you're up enough? You have to get to that point to even start talking about that. But here we go, 16-5 so far. BYU out in front, and another kill from Erin Livingston. Erin is part of a household with Hayden Livingston, who is a safety on the football team, so they are busy getting ready for their seasons right now.
Right, and that great defensive play for BYU to, off that dig, be able to transition. Transition kills when you move from defense to offense are so important as this game gets just more like the men's, right? More physical, more power. So anytime you can get a defensive stop and then turn it around for a point, those are critical points.
Marissa Ritchie 2 for 2 on the slide there. There's Corin Peterson, former walk-on turned starting setter on Scully. The tip from Eschenberg inside the campfire, bringing the graham crackers and chocolate.
We talked earlier about just the incredible decision-making skills from Kennedy Eschenberg. You see that set so low. You know, there's not much she can do with it, but she knows exactly where she is on the floor, where to put it to get that point.
Bifo goes long and not by much. Good eye from the T-Birds. Get out of the way. Now, BYU and Southern Utah haven't played a ton in volleyball. They've played in football, I believe, once, in basketball a couple times. Played a couple years ago. In gymnastics, it's a regular competition they have. In fact, Southern Utah's gymnastics team are called, I'm not joking, the Flippin' Birds. I'm not joking. It's one of the best names in America. It's amazing, right?
That's fantastic.
McComber with the pass and big smile on her face and a big block at the net for SUU, trying to get a little momentum after falling behind quickly here in set one, 18-8.
And Richie, just a freshman middle blocker. This SUU team has got a lot of youth and a lot of great opportunities for growth as they see that potential.
There's Korber. You almost forget about her. It's like, oh yeah, out here, let's check it out to her.
Well, and there's the difference. And Korber being that lefty, right, it's a whole different look when you're blocking, when you're playing defense. But when you have two fantastic pin hitters that you can move quickly, pin to pin to pin, that stresses the block so much.
Stresses it out and stresses it probably, right? 19-8 here in set one, free ball over. Maddie Allen, Whitney Bauer, 3-year starter now. Taylon Ballard-Nixon with another kill. Taylon's husband, Dalton, played basketball at BYU. Dalton's dad, Kevin, played basketball at BYU. So fun family ties there. And BYU's the first to 20. And Casey Nady calls a timeout. Cougars up 12 in the opening set of the
for SUV to a range of pickups including the F-150. Each product line comes with options to enhance performance, comfort, and safety. Think Ford, think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
BYU 10 for 15 with 1 error, hitting 600. Southern Utah 4 kills, 3 errors, 17 swings, hitting 0.59. So that's kind of the story of this first one. As you look at UNLV enjoying a little pasta, a little salad for lunch after sweeping Long Island. UNLV was part of this 4-team tournament with Long Island and the Sharks of Long Island, formerly LIU Brooklyn and LIU Post combined in 2019. That's tonight at 9 Eastern against BYU, the Sharks and Cougars. I never thought we'd have a matchup of those two. But here we are, Maddie Allen out of the timeout, gets the kill, now, or the ace. It's rare to call a timeout and then get ace.
Right.
That just happened. That breaks the Steve Vail rule. If you're familiar with that, people are like, what is that?
I love
if
that,
you know, you know.
That it's branded. Like,
Steve did not claim this. I claimed this for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Steve was just going with 50 years of volleyball knowledge.
Just jump on it. As Heather Knighting, perfection, riding that mission high. 3 for 3, 22-8.
How fun right now for Whitney Bauer. You know, you talked earlier about her. This is a setter's dream, right? If you've got great passers that can keep you in system, that allows you to craft offenses to incredible hitters who are doing their job to get up and be available.
The tip from Hone, good spot, good save by Bauer. Ballard-Nixon goes high hands and gets it, 23-8.
You see Kenzie Kerber giving Bauer a little extra high five. That's because that was her ball. She had kind of released in early, and then Bauer showing why she's one of the best defensive setters in the nation.
She's come a long way. She was thrown in as a true freshman that had reclassified. She should have been a senior in high school. She found herself setting for BYU on a top 25 team, and she's been awesome. Korber dug up. Peterson goes high on the right side for Hone. SUU in transition. Hone, nice, into the hula hoop in the deep corner.
Right, that spot right there from Hone. You see how she's got a really high swing, and SUU's done a really nice job avoiding that big BYU block, and they're hitting those deep corners.
23-9. Sarah Gasper from Raleigh, North Carolina. That's Taylon Ballard-Nixon summoning just a little bit of moisture on the court. Up 23-9. I'm not going to conspiracy theory that this is a pseudo timeout situation, which sometimes we see.
You can, but this floor.
I'm not.
So fun to play on.
The Terraflex.
The Terraflex plus the BYU gym is just, everyone in the nation talks about it because it feels so good on your knees. You jump well, you can move well.
And Korber is blocked for the first time as a Cougar, 23-10.
There's an out-of-system play right there. That ball dying a little bit. BYU can't be perfect every time.
And there's an ace. SUU, a couple of points here at the end of the set. Sarah Gasper.
That's exactly what this team wants to do, is the Thunderbirds, like, get back there, generate some momentum that you can take in to the second sets, because it starts 0-0. You can start right back getting after it.
This set was lost a long time ago, but like I said, you can change momentum going into the second stanza. The tip, SU with a chance to turn it here. Maddie Allen with the dig. McComber calls for it. Washington State libero transfer. Gasper with it. Libero showing up in this first set. Free ball. And Allen watches it go out. Set point, BYU.
Well, and I think Southern Utah really capitalized on BYU being a little bit out of system, right? The pass isn't there. If you can get someone back past that 3-meter line, everything breaks down. It's all even.
Korber. Right into the bread basket of Weber there. Now BYU in transition. Set point, Niding, yes. Heather Niding, 4 for 4 off the mish. And BYU wins the first set 25-11. We didn't have very big crowds last year. This isn't going to be the biggest crowd of the year, but man, it's fun to have volleyball back, and BYU jumps out 25-11, hitting 478, and Heather Niding and the slide have reconnected in a way that it feels like just riding a bike from 2019. The Cougars dominate this first set. Set for BYU. 5 aces was pretty good as well, as the Cougars take the first one 25-11. 2 aces from Korber, and then Hefo and Allen and Niding had one as well.
Right, and if you can control the game from behind the service line, you win, because you can dictate the offense. You get to be on the attack. Whoever wins the service game with that service pressure wins the match.
5 aces will do it, right? SUU had 1, and BYU offensively hit 478, and Southern Utah 0-3-8. So let's see what happens here in set number 2. What was that first set like, do you think, for Korber and Niding, where it was like, back from a mission, I'm not wearing crimson, I'm wearing blue now? That had to be an interesting experience.
Yeah, I think for all of them, it's like, okay, you know, here we are. A lot of times that happens in preseason, because you come and you're doing double days. You're in the gym all the time, building up to kind of this moment right here. That's the test of, are we good? You know, what's it going to look like when we actually get out there and compete?
I think we're going to see our first challenge of the day. You get 3 wrong challenges through the first 4 sets. Go to a 5th, you get another one. You keep them if you're right. I wish this worked at home.
I'm going to challenge.
Can I challenge that? Oh, I was wrong 3 times? Okay, I'm done. I'll stop challenging. So we'll see if there was touch on Korber on the edge.
And I like the play here. You can watch SUU running. It's almost, you know, a little combination play. You have the middle jumping quick, trying to get the blockers to jump with her, and then just going slightly over the top to get that high ball to hone, and her contact super high.
Does not look like there's touch. I didn't see a pinky bend back.
It's tricky.
I think this is going to be out. If in fact they're challenging touch and not
every time
line.
we do slow motion and you watch like someone hammering the ball at 80 miles an hour, and then you look at the tiny digits, right? that volleyball players we put up and put over the net, like, how are we not blasting fingers just across the gym? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm noticing so it's the first game, right? So new swag, new unis for BYU, going long sleeve, little kind of blended blue to white, and then Heather Olmstead rocking like a new polo, you know? The fresh gear is out for this year, and we're always the ones later to be like, hey, any extras for us? So yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's Heather Olmstead's.
Yeah, the little ombre on the sleeves for the team.
Yep. SU, the new swag for Casey Nady and everybody. Nady's first challenge as a head coach ever.
Right.
Right here.
Well, and Nady is so new. She doesn't even have an apartment yet, a house. She's couch
staying
surfing.
at a friend's house that I think played maybe basketball at Oregon.
Yeah, because
right?
Casey played at Oregon, yeah.
She played volleyball at Oregon, Little Beach at Arizona, I think, as well. So no touch, and BYU gets the point. So Whitney Bauer, the now junior setter from Nampa, Idaho, 2020 West Coast Conference Player of the Year as a sophomore, serves it up. Had a system swing for Hone. Time tips it over. Bauer right there. Allen. High for Korber. Dug up by Peterson. Gasper. High for Hone. Blocked. Salcedo all over it. The back set. Block was late, but dug up by Bauer again. She's all over it. Erin Livingston. The long rally. And Salcedo gets the block off the tip off the block. 1-1.
And again, for the Thunderbirds, just stay in the match, right? Keep that ball, pop it up, make BYU continue to work hard after each rally, and you see SU winning a few of these longer ones. I think the longer the rally goes is going to benefit the Thunderbirds.
Mr. Weber goes long. So this BYU squad comes into this season, went into a 48-team tournament for the NCAA. I don't know why they didn't do 64. I still don't know. It didn't make any sense. Beats UCLA, loses to Wisconsin, who was the 2 seed. Wisconsin goes to the Final Four, loses to Texas. And adds a couple of All-Americans. As Hefo gets a touch, but goes down as SU ties this thing up at 2. Now BYU feels like, okay, they've loaded the team. So what's possible here? Because obviously in the WCC, there are 3 ranked teams in this league. San Diego, Pepperdine, it is a good league. The Sweet 16's kind of been the minimum threshold for BYU the last 9 years, with one exception, where BYU went to the second round, lost to Utah here. And then the other exception positively was they got beyond it to the Final Four. So it'll be interesting to see how this team develops this year with this really talented roster.
And I think the interesting thing on paper is the addition not only of the firepower in the front row, but these defenders.
Yes.
You know, because it's a serve and pass world, and you do not get to the late stages of the NCAA tournament if you can't pass the ball. And so to add all of these new defensive players that have transferred in that are just nails in the passing lanes, that is the challenge now for BYU, how to incorporate these players and kind of sub them in, as we're seeing a lot, and still maintain the flow of the match.
Whoa, Korber with the bullet, and BYU gets the point. Now that's just a taste, man. That is just a little guacamole and chips of what we're going to see of the entree this year from Kenzie Korber. My goodness.
Just that bomb down the line, and good job from Gasper. You know, she was really deep on the line. I think any more shallow and that would have tagged her face.
Well, Scott Sterling, that's what we call that on the court. You mentioned the libero. So Maddie Allen's back as the starting libero. Gretchen Reinert was the Santa Clara libero. She's on BYU's team now, transferred. Grace Wee went there, by the way, a little swap. Second round pick and player to be named later. And then Aria McComber, Washington State's liberos here. BYU has 3 starting liberos on this squad. Maddie Allen's going to be the starter, but the other 2 will come in and pass really well. And so, like you said, it's loaded. Let's bring in Kiki Solano for more on this group as well.
Whitney Bauer talked to me just about how this team, like you said, Jerem, is loaded, and it's because of that they feel so confident. I asked her, what do you think the potential is? What do you guys see for yourselves? She said they want to go as far as they can, but they really believe that they can go all the way, just taking it one win at a time. They feel so grateful to have so many older girls that bring so much experience to this team. Jerem?
Thank you, Kiki. And Heather Olmstead said, when you come to BYU, you want to play for a national championship. Cougars have been to a gajillion Sweet 16s, been to 3 Final Fours, Elite 8s and whatnot. 2018, BYU was 31-0 until the regular season finale. Then, was undefeated, then went through the NCAA, lost the regular season finale, went through the NCAA tournament all the way to the Final Four. So this program has big aspirations. As Kennedy Eschenberg lays that one down. Her husband, Zach, who was an All-American on the men's side, in the front row over here watching.
Well, and Kennedy Eschenberg right there is going to be so critical to this team's success. Not just what she does on the floor, but who she is off the floor. And I think when you bring in so many new players and you have so many different looks and have to deal with so many different athletic players and their attitudes, culture becomes so critical. And I think that alone is going to determine BYU's success. Can you incorporate and find a new team mantra where everyone feels united, everyone feels part of the team, and they know their role?
And if and when Heather Olmstead hears about us talking up the team, we haven't proved anything. We've got to do what you're saying, right? We've got to develop, we've got to have the culture. But all the pieces are in place, which is exciting. 7-6 here in set 2. The Cougars won set 1, 25-11. Not popped up by Corin Peterson, and her body language tells you she didn't get it.
Yeah.
She did not look up at the ref like, what?
She needs to sell that, right? I think if you want to know if something's up or down, watch how it bounces, right? It's going to bounce different off the floor versus off of the hand. See all that spin?
Yeah. And the longer I do this, the more I realize the player will tell you what happened. Just watch them. 8-6 BYU. Korber dug up. Chance to cut this back to 1. Hone. Allen on it. Bauer in the middle for Eschenberg. Just kind of a little cutty in front of Peterson. 9-6. Let's talk about the difference from SU from set 1 to 2, by the way. They settled in a little bit.
Right. I think we saw them kind of come alive those last 2-3 points, and then the door was open, and it was like, hey, you know, we can take a little more confidence. And the second set, they've been playing with a lot more confidence, really getting after it. They're challenging the block. They have figured some things out defensively, and they're serving a lot tougher. And so BYU hasn't been able to put those hard-driven balls in system that have allowed SU to get some points.
10-6. In set number 2, BYU will take on Long Island tonight, 9 Eastern on BYU TV. UNLV tomorrow night, 9 Eastern on BYU TV. And of course, the free BYU TV. Maddie Allen back here in Livingston. Peterson, standing set to Hone, and Hone is blocked by Korber, who is pumped. She brings a certain amount of juice to this team as well.
She really does. The energy that Korber plays with is infectious. She turns and gives it to her team. She has her entire career. She is just a presence on the floor in every capacity.
Now, you're probably wondering, hey, where are all the students? There's some here, which is good, but school's not in session until Monday. So the freshmen have shown up. If you're a sophomore on, you ain't showing up till like Sunday, you know what I mean?
Please.
But the freshmen had orientation yesterday, and then took this, they do it every year, the traditional big block Y photo, which is pretty cool. And then they went to the women's soccer.
Oh, awesome.
So several of them are here today, which is awesome. The student section looks amazing. And hopefully there are even more here tonight against Long Island. Oh, nicely done by Bauer.
Well, and I think you, obviously, Jerem, are kind of ruined with the incredible capacity that the crowd at BYU is just so unique that these teams that have come in, like SU, like this is a huge crowd,
yes,
especially coming out of COVID. I think 20 people is a little shocking and jarring. And so you've got all these players that this is the biggest crowd they've played in front of ever, and they're making that adjustment.
Yeah. Spins off the basketball hoop.
Yeah, and I was saying it's awesome.
No,
you're just surrounded by 5,000, but this is.
No, you're right.
In the normal world, this is a pretty good showing for a volleyball match.
I can't wait for the world to be normal again. Still waiting for that. 12-8. That ball goes down on BYU's side. SU's hanging in there. Lost that first set by 14. That got ugly. But this one a little closer here. Sarah Gasper.
I think I love that about volleyball as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get blown out in one game, and it's like, hey, start over fresh.
Yep.
Here we go, another chance.
Nice swing on the right side from Stacy Hone, who we haven't asked about the shiner, but I'm assuming she just took a ball or maybe an elbow in the block or something to the eye. But hey, that means she's ready to go.
Yeah, I think
right
Casey Natty said that her team was full of fighters and they like to battle.
Well,
and so
hopefully not literally, 'cause, there you go. Big block in the middle by the Thunderbirds. 12-10. Little momentum on the side of the team in red and black.
And this is the other thing I love about volleyball. It's a game of adjustments. You can't come out with the same game plan you had at the beginning of the first set. You have to make changes as you go. And you're going to get that a little bit from your coaches, but it's more those 6 players on the court have got to really talk to each other, figure out what's going on, and make adjustments.
Ashby with the block, and then Ballard-Nixon with the kill. Taylor Ballard-Nixon and Kennedy Ashenberg were the 2 seniors on the team last year. They had the option to just move on, right? But they chose to come back. Two all-conference players, and then the ace. BYU 6 of the first 2 sets. And Maddie Allen adds another one, her second. That's one part of the women's game that I love that you don't see in the men's games, the libero serve.
Right. Yeah, and I think that importance of serving is really coming on over the past, 4 or 5 years. Just kind of the understanding at a high level of serving is super, super important. And so all of these teams are spending a lot more time practicing, really getting after it to try to develop those tough serves.
Great dig from Gasper to create that opportunity, and then they convert it. And SEU is down by 2 here, 14-12.
And this is great, right? This is every coach's dream, to see how your team's going to play when they're coming back. How are they going to play in a tight situation when things aren't going well? That's how you learn.
Oh, what a play. Korber with this bump set from 40 feet away. Left-handed fist by Ballard Nixon off the block. Oh, you couldn't practice that one.
Please.
15-12.
Please don't practice that one.
Korber with the assist. Ballard Nixon lays it off of Peterson. Timeout on the court, 15-12 Cougars. BYU Sports History Showcase is brought to you by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. Last time BYU played in the Smith Fieldhouse, back on March 31st, swept Santa Clara to win a West Coast Conference championship, and went a couple weeks later to the NCAA tournament, beat UCLA, lost to Wisconsin. But they cut down the net, literally cut down the net. We had not seen that before.
Never.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it feels so short. It was just a few months ago, and you would think, oh, it's easy to kind of get back into that rhythm, but it's not. There's a totally different team. You have preseason, haven't spent much time together. It's tough to get back in that groove.
The team's trying to settle into that. It'll take a couple of weeks, I imagine. Overpass and then detonated by Reagan Ashby. And look at SUU hanging here in the second set after just being destroyed in the first one. Like you said, volleyball's funny. You can just throw that momentum out, reset. Now it's 15-13.
Well, and what's the difference there? That those points matter at the end of matches, right? What happens if BYU just keeps the foot on the gas pedal, closes out that first set without giving SUU any sort of belief, but what they did is they opened the door in that first set, and that makes the second one this much closer.
16-13. Ballard Nixon with the kill. She's got 7, a match high, hitting .462. All West Coast Conference first teamer, preseason first teamer, ABCA All-American. Honorable mention last year. Oh, good read by Livingston on the block. The dump from Peterson, a little off the net. Salcedo's blocked by Bauer. And Korber, shoves Bauer. You see the chemistry. You either shove someone you hate or love. There's no middle ground.
Well, and I think a block more than any other event on the court just brings energy. And you watch how these teams will turn around and give it to their teammates. That brings tempo, it brings energy, it affects the other team more. Blocks are big.
That one way out. And now a bit of a lead here, a 5 for BYU, 18-13 with 3 straight. Timeout on the court. BYU in the top 25, and LMU is on the cusp as well every year, if not in. It's a good league, and then you think about the players that are all preseason picks. Kate Grimmer was one of them. You might be like, hey, where's Kate Grimmer? Well, BYU has 2 very good opposites. That's going to be a fun battle throughout the year of 2 all-conference caliber players, and rare that a team has 2 very good opposites. That's what BYU has.
Right. I'm reminded of the women's national team. This year they were the deepest in the entire world. You had players, at 20 deep who could start for most teams in the world. And I think that's a challenge, but it's also good because then when it comes to the end of the season, you've been playing against high-level players on the other side of the court day in and day out in practice, and that helps the team raise their sights. But it's a tough situation, obviously, for those players who are battling out in the trenches.
Yeah.
Because it really takes nothing away from Kate Grimmer.
Right.
She's absolutely fantastic.
First team all-conference Oppo, Korber was not a first-team all preseason player. I don't know if there's a rule against a transfer or something. Knighting was. She came back. She was in the I don't know. There were 5 players on the first team as Knighting continues to just launch missiles, 5 for 5 so far.
On the slide. On the slide. Right? All of them have been
just
off of 1 foot.
Let's go. 21-13. It was 15-13. So BYU has answered that run by the Thunderbirds. And the ace by Ballard Nixon, the 7th of the match for the Cougars.
Well, and interesting to look at Knighting as we get a good look at this ace, all that float as Nixon, well, just over the net. But Knighting is playing in the 2-hitter situation. She's going to go out right now. We're going to see Whitney Lareness come in. But in the M1, which means you are up front as a middle with the setter. So it's your responsibility to be a little more offensive than maybe when you're in the 3-hitter situation. And Knighting did an excellent job.
Knighting having a chat with Heather Olmstead for a moment when she comes out. I imagine that might have something to do with, hey, we need to ease you back into this, as that one's tipped and then blocked by Reagan Ashby. That was an offering from Sophia Callahan, a freshman from Encinitas, California. Not how she imagined her first swing in college. It'll get better, don't worry.
Well, and that hang time there from Ashby. She's a junior middle blocker, 6'3" from Payson High School. Very tall, very long. And Sophia Callahan, yeah, welcome to the roster. We're working people in, and good swing there on the outside.
Lareness is blocked, 2 in a row from SUU. That serve was from Molly McDermott, a freshman from Illinois, who can serve it up in the 40s. She's got a good whip on that Casey Nady really likes.
Well, and if you want to talk about serving a little bit, there's 2 basic kinds of serving, right? The jump float, which you want to hit flat and hard to get a lot of movement on the ball. But then you also have the jump spin serve. But in order to have a good jump spin serve, you got to be up around 50, 60 miles an hour, you know, to have that be effective. Or if you're Fernandez, you just...
yeah, Gabi Garcia.
It's like 70 miles an hour.
Yes. By the way, he was with Puerto Rico as Korber gets it from the back row. She had 3 swings from the back row on that play. That was wild. Gabi Garcia Fernandez with Puerto Rico won the Norseca Continental Championship a couple days ago. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, and he's about to go play for one of the top club teams in the world. Yep. So incredible.
In Italy. Yeah. He's going to make some cheddar over there. 23-15. Here's Whitney Lareness. We're trying to go up 2-0. The slide. That was a far slide. That covered the width of the court. Callahan this time gets it over. Salcedo off the block, 7-on-7 crime. The jersey, 23-16.
Well, it was interesting for BYU to make those changes in the 2-hitter situation, right? Bringing in 2 brand new players when you didn't have someone who had been on the floor as an offensive weapon. And so I think that kind of shook BYU up a little bit. They have been able to find that groove again.
Eschenberg off the block, set point, 24-16 for Brigham Young, ranked 15th in the country. They were the 16 seed in the NCAA tournament. And out come the Sharks. Tonight, literally the Sharks of Long Island will play. So this is going to be a fun matchup between the crowd and that team. And then it gets eerily quiet. Hone, oh, look at Maddie Allen. Callahan off the block. Reinert, Allen resets. Callahan, the freshman, finishing the set off on her 3rd swing. First kill as a Cougar is one to win a set. A memorable one for the newcomer. And a big smile from Heather Olmstead as BYU goes up 2-0. Big dig from Maddie Allen, who was on SportsCenter's top 10 last year for a trio of digs. Might have been 4 at Utah Valley. And Sophia Callahan, welcome to BYU. Here's your syllabus next week. BYU wins the 2nd set and leads it 2-0. We'll take a break. Set 3 coming up as the Cougars go for the sweep.
And get the job done. Not only that, but be perfect offensively. Incredible. And then Eschenberg, you watch her move in the front court. It doesn't have to be the perfect set. She's going to find a way. And she can really be so smart. And you have these 2 players in the middle for BYU. That kind of sets the foundation. That's going to open up all the pin hitters, allow them to see some holes in the block when you have those middles grounded and controlling the front row.
5 kills each, a combined 10 for 11 That is, she's got a game face on, man. That's some focus from Kennedy Eschenberg. Those two middles, pretty dynamic. When you talk about, when Kennedy Eschenberg came in, BYU had a pair of middles that were really good, and she redshirted. And now you have Heather Niding and Kennedy Eschenberg as kind of the next kind of duo. Did you feel like you had a dynamic duo when you were at BYU?
I played with a few.
You?
Oh, with myself?
Because you were one of them.
Oh, no, I played with a few different middle blockers, but I think anytime you have your counterpart on the other side, there's a definite relationship, of shared experience, and trying to figure things out.
And it's funny because you never actually play right next to each other.
Right, yeah.
When you're an outside, it's like you may cross paths on the court, digging a ball or whatever, but it's unique. Let's bring in Kiki Solano.
Jerem, in the past huddle with Heather Olmstead and the coaching staff, they told their team just to really focus on their game, not to worry about the score, but to play the way they know how, to be scrappy, to keep up the energy in this third set.
Thank you, Kiki, and that's something we'll keep an eye on as BYU tries to keep the pedal down, as you talked about, keep that consistency. SUU responded much better in the second set. And after putting up 11 points, got to 16, although it was 15-13. BYU went on a 10-3 run to close out that set.
Well, and I think that's one of the big challenges probably in all sports, is you kind of find a rhythm and a tempo, and you get lulled into a certain way of executing. And so it's important for teams that like to play fast or like to execute at a high level to maintain that and keep it going throughout an entire set.
Set 3 underway, Cougs up 2-0. Livingston on the right side for this rotation, dug up. Salcedo is blocked by Kennedy Eschenberg, the 6th-year senior. You got a redshirt year and a COVID year in there.
You look there on the outside. Big block
Make
again.
that Livingston.
Hey, Eschenberg was there. She is in. She gets it on the stat sheet. You never apologize for giving a middle a block. She had to work to get over there.
Yeah, she didn't touch it, but yes, I feel you. Richie able to catch up to that one. Eschenberg this time connects and gets the kill. Eschenberg talked to her this week a little bit, said she did gymnastics as a kid. She got too tall, had to give that up. Played a little golf, of course, basketball. Didn't really get into volleyball until kind of late middle school, and coming out of Bountiful, she's been a really, really steady piece of this BYU program for 6 years now. Kaylin Ballard-Nixon pounds it for another kill, 3-0.
You look at Nixon there on the outside. This past spring season and kind of heading into her senior year, this extra year, she really worked a lot on her range and where she's contacting the ball and the kind of angles that Nixon can pull out. It's pretty unbelievable.
Corin Peterson off Salcedo. Nice soft shot for the kill to get on the board here in the second set. Salcedo, a freshman from California. Everyone's a freshman, if you will, in getting to know Casey Nady.
Right.
3-week relationship right now with this team trying to gel together quickly.
And you've got new players that are new to school, new to Division I. You've got a new coach. Just so many new things that you've got to take in.
I don't want to jinx it because I don't believe in jinx. Maybe that sounds like I do. There's only been one challenge in this game, maybe. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We had a men's volleyball match last year that was challenge-less, and that was something.
That's amazing.
That was something.
Well, I think you have so many different schools of thought on the challenge, and just kind of what it does to momentum and tempo. And sometimes you want to kill it just because it does. It kills any sort. It makes a crowd of 6,000 silent immediately, so it can work both ways. Not just did I get that ball touch or was it in or out.
Yeah. Kaylin Ballard-Nixon, 9 kills, hitting 500. Pretty good afternoon. Again, BYU will regroup and play Long Island at 9 Eastern tonight. We've got that one right here on BYU TV in the app. So get a nap, get some dinner in, and then we'll chat later. 5-2. The officials this afternoon, by the way, Mike Farish, the up ref. What's up, Mike? And then Liz McKnight is the down ref, the R2. As we'll take a moment to wipe up the floor a little bit. Our score box is brought to you by Brady Industries, a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment. Before this match, UNLV swept Long Island, 25-21, 11-11. So we'll see the Sharks from New York this evening. Hone in the middle, dug up by Bauer. She continues to dig up everything. And then Korver's blocked. 5-3.
That's a tough swing right there. It's those out-of-system plays, right? That ball a little behind Korver's head, so she kind of loses sight of the big block that had plenty of time to set up in front of her.
Not high enough. 10 digs, by the way, for Bauer and Ellen Maddie. Cougars up 2-0. Ballard-Nixon block. McComber to dig. This time back to Ballard-Nixon. What's that like as a setter to go back to the spot where you were just blocked, hoping the block isn't quick enough to get back to where they just were?
Well, I think maybe a lot of times it's almost they get blocked, but it's not a stuff block. You see, when a player might hit that into the block, it's just to recycle the play. Hey, this wasn't the look I wanted. This isn't the best situation. Hit it into the block. Allow your team to reset, do it again, set up, and get another swing.
And sometimes it might even be the setter was like, that wasn't a great set.
Yeah.
Put you in a bad spot. I'll give you a better one. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm coming right
or the
back to you.
hitter's like, not that one. Try again. again.
7-3. Korver. Transfer from Utah. As that one got popped up by Gasper. Richie had given up on it. And then Ballard-Nixon's like, listen, I'll just take over. I got late lunch plans. Let's get out of here. 8-3.
And Laren is there in the front row in the middle, using her big arm length to stop that block, allow her team another chance to swing.
And I doubt we'll see Heather Knighting. I think that's probably a good move to try and just get her sea legs back after a mission.
Well, I think you made a great point earlier. Body management, athlete management is a huge, huge thing to think about, the load physically that bodies can take.
And BYU is going to depend on her quite a bit. So, I mean, it's early. You're going to play some really important matches. Obviously, every match matters, but you look to next week, the Big Sky preseason favorite who will play against Southern Utah in League. Weaver State's coming in. Michigan State's coming in. They're going to Pitt. Utah's coming here September 16th. Let's just call that the Korver game. It's going to be dynamic. I mean, put that in your Franklin planner right now. September 16th, BYU against Utah here. Juicy. 9-4 in set 3. Bauer with the dump. Oh, kept alive. Well done by the Thunderbirds. Ping-ponging around, and then Larenus goes long. So SUU with a great play defensively to keep that alive.
Yeah, fantastic. You look at Bauer, obviously, calling her own number. So low, she throws it like through the net. She's got so much power and an incredible defensive effort from SUU.
And goes to it again. It was tight, so she didn't have a lot of options there. Korver, here's Bauer. Ball coming off a little weird and then blocked. So 9-6. BYU gears down from 5th to 2nd here in SUU with a couple of points in a row.
Well, and I think what we've seen, if you want to do takeaways from this first set, where BYU has struggled a little bit are those out-of-system plays. You know, they're dropping the ball. They're not going high with it, especially when that set is off the net and the block is in front of them. They need to raise their sights a little bit.
The low set from Peterson to Ashby, and it went out. 10-6, so the unforced error. And some more moisture on the court. Now I might pull out the this is a timeout kind of moment, quell the momentum. I'm bringing it right here. I wasn't before. It was 23-8. No. Right here though, yes.
You think?
Yeah. 10-6. Yeah. I'm calling it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. One goes long. Maybe they'll do it again.
They did it, on their own.
Gretchen Reinert will come back into the match. Gretchen is familiar with BYU because her dad, Jeff, was an assistant coach here in the 90s with Steve Cleveland. And then went to Fresno State with Steve Cleveland when Paul George was there as Whitney Bauer wins the joust. And then, of course, he coached at UVU. He played at Gonzaga with John Stockton. So he's now the head coach at the College of Southern Idaho. So Gretchen, although not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, very familiar with everything about BYU. Whitney Larenus. 11-7, third set. BYU up 2-0 on SUU. First match of the season. Stacey Hone. How critical in a first match would you be if you're Heather Olmstead? Because you have a good team, yet it's kind of, you've only been together 2.5 weeks. You want to play good ball. Yet, yeah, there's some things to clean up for BYU, but how deeply do you read into stuff?
I think it's all these coaches are just looking for more data, right? Like, okay, what, and I don't know if I'd be critical as much as, hey, we noticed a lot of trends. Like, here's what we noticed in this set, and some of the stuff you're going to have to really worry about.
Kate Grimmer comes in for Korber. So BYU flexing the muscle with the bench depth there. The first team all-conference Oppo into the match for BYU. 12-8 here in set 3. And Reagan Ashby with the kill up the gut, 12-9. SU struggled to connect. 17 kills in all, hitting 0.57. BYU 36 kills total, hitting 375 for the match.
Well, and I think you wonder what is SUU going to take out of this match. I think they're going to come out feeling pretty good. I think obviously offensively they haven't found the rhythm that they want to, but as far as the fight they wanted to get, as far as maybe serving tough, right? They really disrupted BYU in the passing lanes. And defensively, that energy has got to make Coach Casey Natty feel really good.
And for Casey, she's thinking, okay, I just had my first game.
Breathe.
I figured that out. I challenged. I didn't get that one. Whatever. You know, like the first match is on the road at number 15 BYU in front of like 1,000, maybe 1,500 people. I mean, that's a challenging first one. But yeah, line them up. There are a lot of Utah kids on these rosters. Trust me, they've been looking forward to this one for a long time.
And to see how they've responded, you know, going up against a top 25 team, and in that big crowd, and some of them it's their first, you know, Division I match, and to see that level of response and their calm demeanor, that they haven't been playing afraid or scared, I think they've got to come away feeling really good.
Livingston on the serve. Peterson going high, set over by Salcedo. Still alive and then popped up by Ballard Nixon. And immediately Salcedo puts it over. Maddie Ellen right there for the save. That's what she does. SUU on the other side. Crowd loves it. The swing off the block. Bauer again. Diggs on Diggs. Ballard Nixon. Gasper underneath. Peterson. High for Salcedo. Tipped. Bauer there again. She is everywhere. Livingston deep and out. And SUU rallies again for the point.
Except that play right there was kind of like, oh yeah, here we go, right? This is Division I volleyball, and it's that defensive effort on the floor on both sides. I think the win from SUU gives them a huge momentum boost, but kind of getting your body to run the ball down and get on the floor kind of wakes you up a little bit as to what level is required.
Still no challenge from BYU. One from SUU was lost. You get 3 wrong through 4. Kennedy Eschenberg. Oh, nice. Dig from Peterson, the setter. Allen. Grimmer cuts it hard. And SUU into the net. But Grimmer with a laser on her first swing. My goodness, BYU's loaded up. Sharks all the way from Brooklyn, taking on the Cats from Provo. Coming up tonight. So Amy needs her nap. Little food, and then we'll get going again. Overpass, Larenus. Boom goes the dynamite. 16-10.
It starts with the serve from Maddie Allen, forcing that overpass, and then Larenus taking advantage. All you need, a little wrist snap. BYU back in control.
Moves up 6. Going for the sweep. Big block in the middle. Salcedo, McComber. Grimmer down the line but out. Thought there was touch. Yes, BYU's given touch. And Grimmer gets the kill. Now the dynamic with Korber and Grimmer will be an interesting one to watch this year, because Grimmer is a tremendous player, first team all conference. Korber is as well. Korber probably the profile, a little larger in terms of All-American, right?
Yeah,
and
played
longer.
in the Pac-12.
Yep. So what you do at that position will be a fun challenge for Heather Olmstead this season.
And it's a challenge for both of those oppos as well, because it's more of a mental challenge. I think maintaining your confidence, like, yes, I'm good, right? And knowing that at any moment, your number could be called, right?
Yes.
You can never check out. You've always got to be willing to come in and play at that high level all the time.
Grimmer's a really good player. Right now, Korber is probably the starter, right? Grimmer will compete, and then we'll go from there, right?
Yeah,
Not like outside where you can play 2 or 3, right?
Yes, that's right. But I also, yeah, it's I think it's just got to be so fluid that day in and day out, it's got to be I don't know. You could put in either one.
Yeah.
And sometimes what's great is depending on the team you're playing. You know, you could base it on like the matchups and be like, I think this player would be better in this particular environment. So it just comes down to these players maintaining a mental state that allows them to compete at that level.
And Korber is here as a one and done. She's a grad transfer, and then she'll be done after this year. So certainly Grimmer's long term, which is how much is it this season. We'll watch throughout the season for that. Abby Dayton off the bench with the dig. Caitlin Ballard-Nixon leading the way with 13 kills, 7 more than anybody else in the match.
Abby Dayton coming off. You see how fast that's able to get to the outside. And then again, Nixon just using that deep corner.
Dayton goes into the net. Now, on the bios of the players, I don't know if they were kidding on some of these, but Dayton listed she has a phobia of applesauce.
Really?
Is that a real thing? I'm thinking it's not, but I don't want to be insensitive if it is.
No, it could be. I played with someone who legit had a phobia of paper napkins. She couldn't handle them.
Interesting.
Like she
handle
couldn't.
them, that's a pun.
Yeah.
That's Dayton, it goes down.
Or she couldn't be around people that handled them. Like it was really bad.
Okay.
So I'm
probably
not
a name for that, yeah.
yeah, maybe the applesauce one is too.
Yeah, okay. Keep an eye on that.
But the question is, what, ingesting it?
I don't know, yeah. We'll put Kiki on that. Hopefully we have an answer by tonight. As Taylor Ballard-Nixon continues to rack up the kills, 14 now. You can call her Dexter. And 20-13. So set 1 was a blowout, 25-11. Set 2, it's 15-13. Set 3 here, it was 10-6, kind of tight, and then you've always been able to get a 7-point advantage with 5 to go. Deep corner and out, 21-13 now. I do want to mention at the end of the set, Casey Nady's kind of story. She didn't play volleyball a ton growing up. She didn't even know that college was a possibility, as she will challenge that play, perhaps whether that was in or out or touch. Extend the match a little bit here. She moved to her dad's friend's house when she was 16 to go play in San Diego, get more exposure.
Club, yeah.
Club, right? She had gone to a camp in Arizona and kind of, at the University of Arizona, kind of opened her eyes like, whoa, volleyball's pretty cool, and she was pretty athletic, and she ends up playing at Oregon on some really good teams. I believe she played Arizona Beach a little bit as well.
She transferred after, yeah.
And so we're looking for touch on this. No touch there. Perhaps with Ballard-Nixon. Nope. Okay, that'll be BYU's. And then she didn't even know she could get into coaching. And here she is after a stint at San Francisco as an assistant, which, by the way, volunteer assistant for BYU, Shane Ty, this year was at San Francisco with her, and they're reconnecting in this game. So her journey to volleyball has been pretty interesting.
Well, and just speaking with her, I think she brings a lot of energy to the game, a lot of knowledge. She really is a student of the game who's really just kind of embraced learning from all the different coaches she's been able to be exposed to.
So BYU gets the point there, 21-13 off the hands of Gasper. And then Weber, and then over from McKee, who's been pretty quiet. And there's Livingston to make it 22-13. Nady credits Dave Rubio at Arizona. He's like, she said, the reason my life started in volleyball was Dave Rubio at Arizona. And then we mentioned she's currently looking for an apartment still in Cedar City. She's been there 3 weeks. Katie Grice, an assistant coach, Rubio at Arizona. He's like, she said, the reason my life started in volleyball was Dave Rubio at Arizona. And then we mentioned she's currently looking for an apartment still in Cedar City. She's been there 3 weeks. Katie Grice, an assistant coach, as Morgan Bauer will come in to serve. She's basically couch surfing at her place right now while she tries to get established in Cedar City 3 weeks in. They don't have a grad assistant either to help them chart. So she ends up charting at night with her assistant Donovan Martinez. So they're busy trying to establish this program. And that's double contact there. And it's 23-13. So Southern Utah will play Long Island and or UNLV and Long Island as well this weekend. They'll get a couple games in as Whitney Bauer's older sister Morgan served, although they're the same year athletically. That one goes out. And here we go for match point. Out come the Sharks looking for the sweep in the season opener. Looks like a bunch of the freshmen found the Smith Fieldhouse on the map. Larinus still alive. Peterson, SUU, 4 contacts, and that'll do it. BYU sweeps Southern Utah to start the season off with the victory here in the doTERRA Classic. BYU taking on Long Island tonight, 9 Eastern, right here on BYU TV in the app.
I think this for both these teams, first one of the fall season, opening match. It's more of a learning experience, but I think both teams come away feeling like there were a lot of good things. Sure, a few things to work on, but I like the energy on both sides of the floor, and obviously the ceiling for this BYU team, pretty fantastic.
BYU hits 391, Southern Utah 0-3-5. And Jalen Ballard-Nixon, 14 kills in this one. BYU had 7 aces. Allen had 2, Korver had 2. Korver hit 176, so not her best offering by a percentage.